Hi everyone, my name is Brianna Figley and my proposal is about recruiting and retention in law enforcement. Just to give a quick overview of what I'll be hitting during my presentation, I'll be covering the problem statement and then I'll go into some supporting research and then of course my proposed solution. So my problem statement is that the lack of adequate recruiting and retention for the Ohio Department of Natural Resources has led to problems with officers being able to manage calls and reports outside of their county, which puts excess stress on these officers who are being asked to cover too much ground on their own with little to no support or resources. So just to give you some key takeaways from that, so there's just an overall lack of recruiting efforts and retention efforts. And then that has led to a lack of adequate number of officers to cover their own designated areas. So I did some research just to see what might be causing the lack of retention and recruitment problem. And these were the four big topics that continued to come up the most often, mental health being the first one, and then benefits, retirement, and career counseling, transparency in the workplace, and diversity in the workplace. I'm going to start with mental health because out of all of the research that I did, this one seemed to be the most important and also the one that was lacking the most and kind of the most prominent. So there's really just an overall lack of mental health resources out there for law enforcement, which can be anything from counselors for issues like PTSD or just someone for them to go to, whether it be anonymously or just someone within the staff in the agency. There's really just not a whole lot out there, and there's not a lot of options for people who are struggling with their mental health. And law enforcement deals with a lot of very traumatic events, and that can often lead to issues like PTSD. So, not having some sort of mental health counseling available to them or any kind of education program at all that helps them learn more about resources for their mental health is one of the biggest factors that's actually influencing retention as of right now. So the next topic that came up a lot in my research was about benefits, retirement, and career counseling. So the benefits and retirement options that law enforcement has are not typically explained to new recruits very well, so they really don't understand what's available to them, and they don't know how to take advantage of the resources that are available to them through their agencies. On top of that, there's a severe lack of support offered to officers as far as career counseling goes. So, what I mean by that is kind of having like a mentor or just anyone that opens up opportunities for them to grow within their agency or even outside their agency. So, they're really not made aware of any like outsourced programs or classes that they can take that will help them advance in their career. So transparency was another major issue when it comes to retention, especially. Recruits often get excited and they start their job and they're ready to do it, but then they start to realize that they might have the less desirable detail or shift, and they get sick of it really quickly, and they end up just quitting because they weren't prepared for what they were getting themselves into. So their hours, holiday work, their daily responsibilities are just not really made clear to them from the start. So they don't fully understand what the job entails until they're already in it. And then once they start to kind of get sick of it and realize that that's just not what they want to do, they don't stick it out to, kind of work their way through it. They just give up on it and they leave the agency. And then finally, diversity is a common topic right now, especially when it comes to retention and law enforcement and recruitment. Agencies are really starting to see that they need to change their strategies to focus on building diversity, and many new officers actually end up leaving due to a lack of diversity in their agencies. So, culture is obviously more important now than ever in any job, but especially in law enforcement. So my solution is very simple. These are the four topics that I hit. Um, I just want to hire mental health specialists to provide resources, really focus on human resource professionals, and then focus recruitment towards diverse female cadets and train recruiters in transparency and authenticity. So these next few slides are just my sources. So if anybody has any questions about those, please feel free to reach out to me. Thank you.